Okay, welcome back to Dragon Ball Z Anime Review Part 2A. Now you're probably thinking, wait, are you splitting up the video because you're going to be interrupted for dinner or something? No, I decided to split this up on purpose. This one I'm just covering the first half of the next saga of this particular series. This is which is commonly referred to as the Vegeta saga of the series. Yes. Now, this saga lasts from episode 1735, but for this video I'm only covering episodes 1720, because it seems like a good place to stop, basically, for 20. Now, basically, there's about 3 or 4 different plot threads going on in this particular arc. You have the thing with Goku, with him getting, basically going along Snake Way, making it with King Kai's place. Gohan with Piccolo, though Gohan later branch out in his own separate thing. Piccolo does something on the side. He doesn't do very much of the first portion of this arc. There is the training done by the other heroes, Krillin, Yamcha, Tien, Chaozu, and Yajirobe. That's another plot thread here. And another one is simply put a minor thing of like a couple times Chi-Chi shows up in the saga. Yeah. Otherwise, though, that's really it for sagas wise. Yes, let's talk about each of these particular plot threads basically for these episodes. First, let's talk about Goku's. Yes. His basically thing throughout most of this, for pretty much the first, for most of this particular set of episodes, he is just traveling along Snake Way. And it's rumored to be, they say when he arrived there, it was rumored to be 10,000 miles long. 10,000 miles. And first he flew, and he ran energy, he started jumping, and after he started jumping, he kind of almost fell off, like, yeah, I probably shouldn't do that. So he proceeded to start running. Yep. This lasts for a good period of time, and then he gets knocked off, falls into hell, though thanks to some challenges done by 2 particular characters named Gauze and Mez. Yeah, these two. Now, Gauze is his blue ogre. Mez is the red ogre with glasses. Yes. Now, in the original dub, I heard of this. They refer to Hell as the home of the infinite losers. Yeah, that's what they refer to Hell as in the original Ocean dub, from what I remember from it. Yes. Now, the Ocean dub was not very popular with a lot of people. Understandable. Because of stupid edits and the changing of the stupid and doing the stupid lines. One thing most people can agree on, the Ocean Up had a fantastic opening theme song, Pump Up the Dragon, which is a fantastic song. The song they use here is okay. I'm not really a big fan of it. Yeah, I prefer Pump Up the Dragon a lot better than this. I kind of wish Funimation had the rights to that song so they can use it for their uncut of Dragon Ball Z, because I love Pump a Dragon theme song. It's great. It's utterly fantastic. Though it takes clips from that one, it takes clips from 3 Dragon Ball films: World's Strongest, Tree of Might, and Dead Zone. Yeah, it takes from films that are not entirely very good. Yeah, 3 films that are not very, very popular with a lot of people when it comes to Dragon Ball Z films. I will discuss the films at a later date, mind you. Like for DBZ, I'll discuss their films, and for this series, and I'll do the same thing with the Dragon Ball movies. Though a lot of the time, there's just basically just taking arcs that have already been adapted for the series and putting new spin on them, or at least do something new with them, or change the color. But say I have the same voice cast. DBZ, on the other hand, all their films are original stories, and I would say up until they introduced the character Cooler, movies were just okay at best. I will discuss them later on. Yeah. Goku, once he gets... Now, how he gets out of hell is quite interesting. After going through the challenges from Cosmos, first they try a giant seesaw to get him out of hell. It doesn't work. And then God's like, okay, play tag with me. First, Mez basically was easy. Sumo wrestling match, which Goku easily beats him at. Mez, play tag with him. And it's pointed out by Gauze that no one has ever caught him since, if Goku catches him, he'd be the first person to catch him since King Yama. Yep. So, secret passage. And it leads to King Yama's desk, and Goku had to start all over again back at the beginning the same way. He runs for quite some time, managed to basically get up thanks to eating the fruit. He ate some fruit, so it made able to catch him up pretty much where he fell off, though he's able to run to a street cleaner. This is where he now the street cleaner the cleaner he basically ran into before, and he wanted to basically like halfway there, though he fell asleep, he fell off thanks to a bump, and then when he got back up on there, he missed a turn and fell off, and the guy was never seen again in this series. Yep, he runs along and he comes across this strange building. And this episode, this particular thing is the introduction to Princess Snake, voiced by, in her debut role, Colleen Clickenbeard. Yes, this was the first character she ever voiced in anime. This is what I've heard. This is information I've heard. This is basically her debut role. May not be her first lead in the series, but it's her first character she voiced. And I got hand to her. She did a pretty dang good job, basically, for her debut role. I mean, yes, the character, basically, the dub was officially released like 20 years ago, but yeah, Colleen Clickenbeard, one of my personal favorite dub actresses, and I've seen her in over 20, like about close to 20 series by now, and yeah, here's the odd thing of Princess Snake. After this episode, she's mentioned once after this. After that, she never appears again in the anime. Never does. I'm like, really? I have heard she does appear in one of the video games after this. See, she basically, her thing, she apparently comes in fatch with Goku and tries to seduce him. It doesn't work because he's got a family. Of course, she offers Goku a meal and offer him a bath. And and here's the thing. She actually peeps on him naked. People are thinking, wait, someone peeping on someone naked. This trope is usually, believe it or not, usually a guy peeping on a beautiful woman naked. This is kind of the opposite. This is kind of reverse. Now, in the case of the Snake Princess, this is by pure accident. She just happened to see Goku naked. Yeah. Then he managed to put his clothes back on, and she tried several times to try to seduce because she's basically infatuated with him. Though, you see her true form, which is basically a giant snake, after it gets out of her belly. And then he proceeds to first he was used the Kamehameha on her, and he's like, nah, I probably shouldn't because she gave me some good food. So, ties her up, and then she's never seen in this series ever again. Unknown why, though. She was actually a pretty fun character. Though, when she returned, she apparently hooked up with Raditz. Yeah, from what information I've heard about her, is at one point she was married to King Yama. Basically, apparently his... Though, apparently she got divorced, or she's cheating on him, and she's hooked up with Raditz because she has Think for Saiyans. Yeah, Raditz. A character who, when Vegeta describes him, as the weakest of the four... Well, they say the four Saiyans Saiyans, but here's the thing. And that is actually a big fat lie. Yeah, there's actually more than 4 surviving Saiyans. There's actually one the series never brings up. Which one is that? Vegeta's brother Turbo. Yeah, his little brother, who appeared in a special. I'll probably review that because that basically got me interested. Yeah, the one set at 2 years after Majin Buu. Yeah, it's something that this one's never dubbed. Yeah, I'm not really sure why it hasn't been dubbed, but it hasn't been dubbed yet. I'll get that at a later date. Yeah. Though they also feature a Saiyan in one of the films, Turtle, who is somebody who looks exactly like Goku. It's basically a what-if scenario of, what if Goku actually joined the Frieza Force? Yeah, but that's part of TMI, and that'll be some other time for that one. Yep, and then Goku finally arrives, and the snake, he basically ends up climbing on the snake way toward the very end, because it gets kind of bulky. So he's like looking at like, okay, where is it? And he look up, oh, there it is. He flies up to it, and then he ends up crashing on the planet. Why? Small planet, big gravity. Yep, and he spends the next 2 episodes eating and catching a Squircy debut of King Kai in the series. I don't remember who voiced him, But from the sound of it and from the other dub I've heard, it seems like it's the same dub actor. Yeah, I don't think he ever changed when it comes to dubs. Yeah, from the dub I've heard, it's generally the same person because he has a very high pitched voice. Yeah, he's like overreactive, and he basically reason train Goku if he can make him laugh. He does, and then he has him go chase Bubbles. Okay, and then he has chase Gregory. Of course, for Bubbles, he has to catch him while wearing the weighted clothes, and then have catch Gregory, a giant grasshopper, which he has to bop in the head. Takes him a while, but he ends up hitting him, though he ends up damaging King Kai's car, and I thought it was so hilarious. Like, I hope my insurance covers this. I thought that was so hilarious. And then he gives sort of a history lesson to the Saiyans, where here's kind of the thing when it comes to the history lesson. It's mostly been intact, except for how the planet was destroyed. Yeah, that portion of the story is actually a big fat lie, where it was destroyed by a meteorite. Yeah, that was retconned later to be done by one of the biggest villains of the series, Frieza. Yeah, I'll be discussing him when I get up to Frieza, who is considered by far one of the best villains in history of the franchise. Though he's also really short. Yep. And that's it for Goku's plot. Now, Gohan, what he's up to is, well, he's taken by, well, Piccolo, and he tells, okay, take off your coat, and then he says, oh yeah, I'm going to leave you alone for 6 months to do whatever you want and survive. First couple episodes, he ends up crying, he gets stuck on top of a rock. Of course, he also gets some food, and then he sees the full moon. And he turned to a Zoro for the first of 3 times in the series. 3 times. And then Piccolo's like, okay, I gotta figure out a way to turn him back. Like, okay. He apparently doesn't think of the idea of cutting off his tail. So he ends up destroying the moon. Again. Second time in the series the moon's destroyed. And here's the thing. Unlike the first time, where people actually noticed it, this time it's barely acknowledged. And here's also something quite strange though. The moon is never restored. Yeah. Earth's moon is never restored ever again. Which I'm like, that's weird. And then he proceeds to pull off Gohan's tail, given now physically some of his father's, but he has his symbol, basically the mark of demon, as his emblem. He gives him a sword too, which I'm like, really? Why would you give a 4-year-old a sword? Though he's able to basically use it pretty well. Then, by the 3rd episode, he basically he comes across, he falls like in the ground, and he ends up coming across a robot, which, the information I've heard about this robot, apparently he's no Capsule Corp robot, though the English dub never mentions that at all, that he's from Capsule Corp. Yeah. Oh yeah, and the robot's destroyed by the end of the episode, but I thought the whole Strange Robot episode, I thought that was one of the most well-written episodes, despite the fact being filler. It was very good. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, that robot actually taught Gohan a lot about surviving on his own. And of course, he got himself a dinosaur briefly, and then he had a cat following him around, and then he decided to end up on a couple islands. Like first, he ends up on one island. Like, how the heck did I get here? And he ends up near a shoreline, which actually turns out actually right near his home. Yeah, it's the episode Play of Children, where a bunch of kids basically are just hiding out in this town. They want to go to this orphanage, where apparently they want to go there because they give children spankings and have them do chores. The chores thing is nothing unusual for kids to basically go through, but the spanking thing, yeah. By the way, these kids are never seen again after this episode. Oh yeah, and the oldest of the kids takes Gohan to particular like halfway to his house. And he drives up and he says, be seeing ya. Nope. Never appears again in the series after this. Yeah, I don't think this character ever returns. Not the episodes I've seen. And then he proceeds to somehow get back at my home. Yep. He gets back home, sees his mom, and then he just runs off and trains Piccolo for the next few episodes. And then he turns to Ozaru again, thanks to, just by sheer coincidence, come across Goku's ship. Yeah, Goku's ship when he first arrived on Earth when he was a baby. Yeah, somehow they found it. I am not really sure how they found this damn thing. The funny thing is, was sitting there for about 25 years. Like, how is it that besides the old man Gohan, aside from him, apparently nobody found this thing? Yeah, until Piccolo finally destroyed it. Apparently this thing made a projection move which turned Gohan back to Ozaru. And once the thing was destroyed, he turned back normal, removed his tail, and that was it for him. And of course, there's a minor thing with Chi-Chi, where she's wondering, like, where's Gohan and Goku? So she drives her and her father. Of course, her father's like, hey, I can't wait to see my grandson. It's been like a year since I saw him. Yeah, it's like you know to see him again. Drives to Master Roshi's place. He proceeds to treat Master Roshi with a good amount of respect. It's like, thank you. And of course, thanks him for being a good student. Thank you for all the training you gave me. And Master Roshi's like, well, you were a good student. And Chi-Chi's like, well, since Krillin basically was given the task of telling Chi-Chi what happened to Goku and Gohan, he failed to do it and failed to get the Dragon Balls. So Roshi ends up telling him off screen, like, what? Piccolo took my son? Yeah. And then he's like, what happened to Goku? He's like, Goku's dead. He's like, what? Yeah, she doesn't have a big reaction to the fact that the man she loves and the father of her child is dead. She has more of a shock to hearing about her son being taken by Piccolo than her husband dying, her husband that she's married to for 5 years. Yeah. Why is this? This is something I thought was quite strange about Chi-Chi, how she's in this series. She has a much better reaction. Now, understandable for basically anybody who's a parent, hearing that someone who at the time was known for being a known monster taking your little boy off to train to be a warrior. But not having much of a reaction to your husband's death, that by far was stupid of her. It's like she's shocked, but not as big a shock as her son being taken. I would thought she would have passed out. I thought she would have fainted. But no, she didn't. Yeah. And of course, Baba comes by later to explain, basically Goku gets a message, like, don't wish me back for a year. And of course, Goku finds out, takes up by Ume's King Kai. He said it'll take 88 days for them to arrive at Earth. So, also they have a standalone episode for Vegeta and Nappa, where they stop up at a planet which, it turns out this is a planet the Saiyans have been to before, where they just come there, surrender, easily beat the tyrant, and having the guy they basically met and saw briefly, reunite with his love, and then they proceed to leave the planet, and then they just blow it up. And by the way, this incident is never mentioned. Yeah, it's almost like from Vegeta and Nappa's perspective. Yeah, this, and of course the way they describe that the whole excursion to that planet is a waste of time. Which is why this planet destruction is never brought up at all in the franchise. Yep, and by the way, that was the only standalone episode featuring these two until they arrive at Earth. Yep, but what about the rest of the gang? Well, they climb up the Korin Tower. Second time they've done it. And you have a Korin again, and they have to go meet with Kami, which they do not show how they get up there. My guess is assuming they probably got up there via the power pole, which they don't show here, and then they proceed to spar with each other a lot of the time. Of course, Yanjiro spends half the time eating, and then they use a similar thing that Goku used when he trained. They go back in time, this time to Planet Vegeta. My guess is probably after they mentioned in the episode 20 when Planet Vegeta was originally as Planet Tuffle, when the Tuffles were eliminated by the Saiyans, which the way they described them is as big, bulky guys. Basically, they describe the Saiyans as cavemen. And apparently they couldn't understand technology for some reason. I have no idea why. It's by far one of the most strangest things in the series. Yeah, and they end up getting killed by the Saiyans pretty easily. Yeah, they all get pretty much killed by the Saiyans. But, yeah, they all pass their test. So, yeah, the Saiyans are strong. And, of course, now, in the case of changes-wise, over the course of the year these guys are training, Yamcha's hair has grown to the length it was when he first debuted in the series. Krillin didn't change very much appearance-wise. near the Tien and Chaozu, at one point that they start wearing weighted clothes. Yeah, it's something for Krillin to wear it, but Tien, for him, it's just another shirt he just happened to wear because a lot of time when you see him, he usually is wearing a white shirt or going shirtless. That's it for you. And yeah, Yadrobi didn't do very much. Of course, he wore the weighted clothing. Once it's done, he took it off and never put it on again because he does very little fighting in the series. Though he does play a role in this arc later on, but that's it for him. He does jack freaking squat the whole franchise after this arc wraps up. So do a lot of these characters, with the exception of Krillin. Yeah. And it's interesting though, because a lot of time when they have an arc like this in the franchise, usually it's like one central focus and have maybe a B plot. This has got like 3 or 4 different plot threads going at the same time. You have a thing with Goku, with Gohan, you have a thing going on with the Z fighters, and a couple of minor thing with Piccolo, and a minor thing with Chi Chi. Yeah, you have 5 plot threads in 20 episodes. Wow. Heck, there's one episode where Goku spends the whole time sleeping. Yeah, that's not a joke. Yeah. So, yeah, that's something though for this series to do this. But lucky enough, it becomes a single plot thread. Started episode 20, went up until. Well, they do go back to the whole thing of having 2 plots in the story arc. Yeah, they kind of basically merge all the plots into one. Once, of course, they have the Vegeta and Nappa arrive on Earth, which they start with episode 21. Okay? Yeah, but not much else to say about this particular episodes. They're good. I would say by far I'd say of all these episodes, for the Goku one, I would say the best episodes are Snake Princess, obviously. Why I think it's the best one? Because it's Colin Clickenberg's debut role, and I think she did a great job. The 2 episodes so far that he's with King Kai, the episode where he's in hell, and that's it. Because with the exception of a few episodes, he doesn't do a lot these episodes. Gohan, I think the best episodes for him are The Strange Robot, which is episode 9. The one episode he turns into Ozaru for the first time. I'd say all of them are pretty good. I don't think any of them are bad personally. The only one I was not really a big fan of was Plight of the Child, mainly due to its ending, where it's like very abrupt, like, oh, all the kids are taken. And then here's the thing, you never see these kids ever again. Gohan at this point, I thought the little girl who's dressed in a Chinese garb, hey, my mom wears the same outfit, and I do too. He never states that at all the whole time he sees these kids. And yeah. And here's the thing, the kids have no problem with the fact he's not an orphan. Yeah, they have no problem with that. Yeah, and it's something though that the kids themselves are never seen again after this. That's my only disappointment with this, is the fact the kids are never seen or mentioned again in the franchise. It would be something of Gohan since he's older now. It'd be nice if he had an episode of, let's say, if they were bring back Super, something I would like to see. Do a follow-up to The Plight of Children and figure out what happened to the kids after this episode wrapped up. Because I'm curious. I'm sure people probably would have mixed feelings about the episode Plight of Children, but don't get deny, The Strange Robot is a damn good episode. It's a great character piece for Gohan, basically interacting with a freaking robot whole episode, which I thought that was cool. And here's the thing. It's because it's filler, they pretend... Now, this one, the whole thing is strange. I can see this one as canon. Play of the Children, mostly anyways. I would say the only canon episode is probably when he's transformed with Zaro the 2 times. Yeah. But not much says the episodes, they're pretty good. Yeah, and it's like one video I'm going to do after this. It'll be a review of Black Butler. Yes. But I would do a review newest episode of Black Clover, but nope. Since last week, apparently I missed the article. Like in the case of One Piece and Boruto, this series, Black Clover, is in a hiatus. The anime, not the manga. The manga is still going. As a matter of fact, the new chapter is debuting in 5 days. So yes. So, aside from this video in Black Butler, I don't think I'm doing any videos today. Yeah. But until this next video to review the newest episode of Black Butler. Bye.